what's good, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Wire Sports Media. So, the Indiana Fever dropped a game for the second time to the LA Sparks 89-87 with a fourth quarter collapse. A game in which they should have won. They was leading all game long, but as me and Nikki was discussing on the live, that the Indiana Fever desperately needs a big. They need a big because the LA Sparks are very tall team, and then they allow Kelsey Plum to put her head down, drive into them, get to the foul line, and that's really how they lost the game because they could not stop the downhill action of the LA Sparks. Rather, it's Kelsey Plum going downhill, and then you got to think Azurá Stevens was knocking down big shot after big shot. I think she probably had like over 20 something points. I have to double check the box score and see from her. But yeah, Azurá Stevens had 21. De'Erica Hamby had 18. She almost had 20 points. Then Rickea Jackson had 15. Kelsey Plum had 20 points. So they had four players in double figures. And where the Fever only had three players in double figures because they couldn't stop nobody. Erin McDonald was in foul trouble most of the night. She only had 4 points. Lexi Hall, I don't even know what's going on. It seemed like they're not even creating opportunities for her to have shots. Now, she was 2 for 4 from the field and 1 from 2 for 3-point line, but she needs to get more open shots. I understand we use her for defensive purposes, but you have to create your 3-point players with open shots. And this is where I hope now that everybody realizes that what Kaylin Peck has said is false. Don't matter what her conversation was with Stephanie White was about the team, who she want to get to have the ball in their hand. It's clearly showed you in this game, especially down the fourth quarter, where you need Caitlin Clark in that game. You need her to be able to set players up for easy shots, easy buckets. Because if Caitlin Clark was on that floor, this game would have never have been close at all. Because her big shot ability, her way she assists the game, where she would have gave Aaliyah Boston a lot of open looks. Now, Leah Boston herself, she had a pretty good game. She had 23 points. She had 12 rebounds. She was only had 4 fouls, so that's good. Natasha Howard had 5 fouls. She couldn't stop nobody. She had her hands full. She had 21 points, but she was 8 for 11 from the field, and she made 1 3-point. She almost had a double double. Kelsey Mitchell, 19 points, 3 from 6 from the 3-point line, 8 from 7 from the field. And like I said, everybody else, Michaela Timpson came in, did what she could do. She had 6 boards, 5 points. Sid Colston gave what she could have given the first half. 6 points, 2 from 3 from the field. So, and Sophie Cunningham only 4 points. But the thing about it is, Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham needs to get more opportunities. They need to get more opportunities. If they don't get more opportunities, this team is going to continue to struggle. Yeah, by all fashion, they have won 3 in a row, but by playing aggressive defense. But when you play teams that don't have a lot of bigs and clog up the point and clog up the paint and is not very athletic and they long, that create problems for the Indiana Fever, and they need to get some size. I don't know why they didn't play Bree Turner. Maybe Stephanie White doesn't trust her now. She could have played some in this game, but she doesn't have the skill set. She looks so lost, like a deer in headlights when she played. So I'm gonna let y'all listen to what Stephanie got to say, then I'll chime back in.
Yeah, they had that and 9 free throws. So, I think they just put their head down and started to attack us. They did a really good job of recognizing, when our guards, our small guards got switched on to whether it's Jackson or Stevens. They also did a good job of executing some of their schemes. I thought some of those screener actions that they ran, we went over for the last 2 days, and so we weren't very disciplined in that. But I felt like they let the game come to them in those moments, and we, on the other hand, really felt pressed in those moments and forced some shots or quick shots and didn't really make them work as much as we could on the defensive end. Yeah, we got to protect our paint.
despite all that, you had to look. I think it was airy on that left arc. Was that kind of what you were looking for? Were you good with that shot late?
In which one? Which on the last time
Like
out or
the
the
last 30 seconds.
the last 30 seconds? Yeah, I mean, I think get all on the three.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was a good look for us. It was a good look for us. We had a look we missed. I think on Kelsey on a back door on one of our other timeouts. We had a great look with AB in the slip on one of them as well. Even at the end of the game, I know it's tough because Azrae Stevens is on the ball and it makes it really tough. I thought Soph was open over the top. But sometimes when teams play with that physicality and use that length, it causes you to rush a little bit, whether it's rushing a shot, rushing a read. It closes the gap, narrows the gap a little bit more.
So you hear what Stephanie White had to say about that, but the execution down the stretch was bad. It was really bad. I mean, you cannot sit there and you should have drawn up a play for Kelsey Mitchell to take the last shot. She's the best 3-point shooter on the floor. You should have drawn up a play for her or find some way. Then you took Sophie out, where you could have probably put Michaela Timpson in down the stretch to help out or left Sophie in. The Fever got outscored 6-0 to close out the game. Missed their last 5 shots. The Sparks made 5 of their last 6 shots in the fourth quarter field goals in the paint. So you think about this: if you going to be a team that's a championship contender, you can't have these lack of judgment stuff at all. You just can't. It has to be consistent all the way down. Yeah, Ari McDonald got in foul trouble, but Sid couldn't play as much, so they had to use speed on speed with Kelsey Plum, which Kelsey Plum took advantage of it. She's a veteran. She took advantage of the mismatch. Got Ari in some positions that she should have, but the Fever what the Fever didn't do down the stretch that won them the last 2 games, they didn't do in this game because the fact of the matter is they did not play. They kept switching off their man. If they had stayed with their man the way they did in the last 2 games, how they won it, they probably would have pulled this game out. The largest lead in this game was 8 points by the Fever. So the Indiana Fever shot, they shot 48% from the field just as well as them. They was bad from three, 7 from 20. 35%, 12 for 19 from the free throw line, 63%. They rebounded 33-30. They assisted 22 apiece. They got 3 steals to 2. They've got 6 blocks. They had 10 turnovers. They only had 5 fast break points. And that's something that has to change. They didn't put, I think what hurt them is where they didn't push pace to start the game. They didn't push pace. They tried to in the third quarter, but every time they see like they was trying to pull away from the Sparks continue to close the gap on them. Um, Points in the paint, we have 46, they have 42. And we should have limited them with points in the paint because you had De'Erica Hammy, Ezra Stevens, and Rakia Jackson getting boards and easy buckets in the paint. We had 21 foul shots, 24 fouls, and they had 21 along that line. So if you think about it, the Fever could have did a whole lot better in this game, but they didn't. Their poor execution cost them, and like I said, the largest lead in the game was 8. So and then you look at this, the Fever, um, the Fever box score, they led every quarter. The first quarter, they led the second quarter. Then they lost the third, and they lost the fourth by 1 and 4 points. Those are the difference that hurts a team when you are trying to win championships or you trying to win playoff games. Like I said before, this team desperately needs Caitlin Clark. All that notion about this team is a threat without Caitlin Clark, it's just been put to rest because now you see Caitlin Clark is very needed on this team because this team still can't get their own shots. They can't even create shots for other people on this team. And we can sit here and say, well, this offense ran slow. Stephanie White this. At some point, we got to quit blaming the coach and look at the players. The players have to go out there and execute. The coaches, if the coach drawing up the play and the players can't execute, then that's a problem with these players. Now, Damaris Johnson should be back next week before they play the Valkyries on Wednesday. and hopefully they could sign somebody. They really need to sign 2 players. They need to keep, if they're gonna cut Bree Turner, let her go about her business. Bring in some people with size and more scoring off the bench. You need that because right now, this with the starters, if AB gets in foul trouble, there is no way this team is going to get points at all because nobody could create their own shot. They all Ari Madonna does all she could, and that's it. Kelsey Mitchell is not a shot creator. She's not somebody you're gonna want to put the ball in your hand. Sid only could do what she could do. You need Caitlin Clark back to start helping this team get some of these easy victories or these victories point blank period. But anyway, let me know what you think about the Fever collapse in the fourth quarter. The overall game, I think the Fever should have run by 10, but you never know. They always play down to the opponent. They have lost to Connecticut. They have lost to the Sparks twice without Caitlin Clark. So again, all this notion that this team is a threat without Caitlin Clark just been put to rest. Until the next time, like, comment, subscribe. You know what it is, because if you don't know, now you know. Lyra Sports, and I'm gone.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.